Hello everyone, my name is Nataraj and I'm a faculty for UPSC Civil Service Preparation. With prelims around the corner with around 40 days or so, let's talk about some simple yet effective strategies that can help you increase your odds of clearing this exam. Especially those kind of strategies that many even good students tend to overlook as well. This is actually part of our prelims mentorship sessions meant for the students who have enrolled in our personal mentorship program. However, we've opened this up for the rest of you as well. So without any further delay, let's get started. And the final area that I'll actually focus on is this section called the post-test analysis. If you look at the pre-test preparation, the during the test and the post-test, test portion is only going to be approximately a couple of hours. Okay, pre-test, you have a lot more sort of cover to basically sort of decide what are the sort of components that you want to, what is going to be your syllabus. You define your syllabus and you define your boundary. Okay, ensuring that what you have already done, you revise it. What are the ones that you have not done? You want to sort of ensure that you cover it, understand it conceptually, be thorough at it. Okay, understand if you've taken the test before, what are the kind of issues that you've had, and you want to ensure that you don't want to make those same mistakes. Then you take the test. Okay, after you take the test, you just basically want to see the score. And I understand that this is true for a lot of you, okay, because it's like playing a game. What if somebody said that you can play a game but not keep score? Okay, where is the fun in that? So you want to see whether where do you stand when it comes to these, but at the same time you're in a good mood when you're doing well. In fact, many of you are not in a great mood if you've done well also, but in case the scores have not been that great, you sort of get a little upset. Okay, natural, but I would just say that do not put so much sort of do not give so much weight to these marks, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what have you done in preparation for a particular test, and how do you assess where you stand so that you can make course correction. Now take a look at this: polity test 1, polity test 2, polity test 3. In fact, even chapter wise, where are the mistakes generally coming from? Okay, where are the mistakes coming from? So this is one sheet. There is another sheet for this as well, in which this particular student has written which are the correct questions, what are the chapters that I'm strong at. So clearly, if you look at it, the parliament chapter is something that the student probably needs to work a little more on, and these sort of sections. Okay, again, there are a whole lot of chapters in which the student feels he or she is kind of strong at as well. But this will basically tell you something. How do I do my second reading? Now, how many of you believe that you have enough time to go through Lakshmikant A to Z again, right? Now, in fact, if you don't believe that you have it, you do have time. In case you've not done your Lakshmikant A to Z, totally fine, you can still do it. Okay, but if you've already done it, there are better ways to sort of spend your time. But when I say that let's spend a little bit of time to sort of focus and revise. Okay, now if I say revise, and let's say that you have like 1 hour to revise your polity, where exactly are you going to start with? Chapter 1. What is chapter 1? I think chapter 1 is salient features or something like this, and preamble. And every time you start your revision, you're going to be basically in those chapters. That is not what you want. See, my strength and weakness is not your strength and weakness. Let's be very clear there. Okay, where I need more revisions is not going to be the same place where you need more revisions. Okay, for somebody it might be constitutional bodies and non-constitutional bodies. For somebody it could be the conceptual areas, your fundamental rights in DPSP and fundamental duties. And there are many who would feel like fundamental rights, duties, DPSP, salient features, the constitution portions, you cannot go wrong in those. Okay, for me, that is my strength. Okay, I don't believe the chances of me, you'll have to give me extremely difficult sort of question for me to go wrong there. But you could probably, I'll probably need a lot more revision when it comes to constitutional bodies, non-constitutional bodies, and especially this, what is that? Local courts. There are some small chapters like this that probably, I'll probably need a lot more sort of revision. So your revision depends on where you stand, and you will not know where you need revision unless you actually assess where you stand. It hurts, trust me, writing 12 and then taking another test and then finding 13. I can imagine how much it should feel. Okay, and I empathize. Okay, but the point is, these are not things that you can master very, very soon. So if it tells you that you're making these mistakes, one thing is you have 13 new concepts that you can learn. And not only that, okay, it tells you that I have to revise this chapter once again. So when you get a chance, and if you have like 20 minutes to revise, 30 minutes to revise, 1 hour to revise, where are you going to go? You know exactly what are the things that you need specifically. For somebody else, if you do the same sort of an assessment, you'll probably understand that this is not the thing. I'm great at Parliament. Okay, I know the entire procedure about Parliament. I'm watching Lok Sabha TV and Rajya Sabha TV, and I feel like I'm part and parcel of it. Parliament mein I galti ho hi nahi sakti. Okay, but maybe you have to focus on certain other things, but that because you have done a proper post-test analysis. Very, very sort of important. And from this post-test analysis, how do I sort of do? Okay, you can sort of It's kind of like a funnel, right? Okay, through the funnel, this entire chapters, you're breaking it down to chapters, so and so and so. So you're narrowing it down. Okay, so it helps you narrow down your focus. Okay, and understand strength and weakness. Okay, so and I know that this is not an exercise that really feels that great. Okay, but go ahead and try to do it. Okay, because it does help you quite a bit. Okay, I've gone through the same thing. And I'm sure that the ones who are doing it, it is not something that is that great, and it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort. But please go ahead and try to do it. You will see the benefit. It basically tells you, so when you're putting in that extra effort, you will understand where that effort should actually go. Okay, you should understand where that effort should go. So it's like a postmortem. Now, see, from post-test analysis, there are a few things that I will tell you. Okay, there are two types of questions. Okay, one is going to be your conceptual questions, and the other ones are going to be your factual questions. Yeah, there is a question that I just don't know it. Okay, there are some questions that are conceptual questions. So let's take something like environment. Environment. Okay, in environment, let me just think of some question. Can somebody give me a conceptual question? Ocean acidification. Okay, and that calcification and loss of those calcium carbonate exoskeletons shells, or if it is something like ozone depletion, ozone layer depletion. Okay, depletion. If there is a question about the conceptual portion here, if you don't understand it, I'll tell you one thing: immediately go there, understand it. Okay, fix that issue immediately. Conceptual questions, you should not be going wrong. Okay, and especially if it is a new book. Okay, this has to be done immediately. Okay, conceptual question. Okay, we have no business in not knowing the concepts. Okay, concept is something that has to be very strong. There's no excuse for that. Okay, but then you will also see a lot of questions that are factual in nature, and that is something that you've not seen before. It is not in your portion. So when you do the before test, right, what do you want to do? You want to sort of set your own sort of boundary for this thing. Now, let's say if it's environment, or this one, you might say it's spectrum for history, or let's say Shankar, or any sort of material that you have. Okay, if that is basically the boundary that you've set for yourself, and there are some questions that you do not know, maybe it is in the current affairs, maybe it is somehow you don't know it. Okay, now there are many of these questions. Okay, this so and so report has recently that you've seen in the news, it has been released by which organization? Now this is something that you know it, you don't know it. Okay, now I would classify this more in factual question. If you don't know that particular question, it is great. Okay, how do you sort of solve this? This is it is okay if you don't know this thing, but there are ways in which you can actually know this. Okay, but if it's conceptual question, trust me, go and understand the concept immediately. If you don't understand the concept, you come to me. Okay, I'll help you sort of understand those sort of topics. Okay, especially for economy, conceptual questions are a lot. Environment, you'll see a lot of conceptual questions. Geography, physical geography especially, you'll see a lot of conceptual questions. Okay, polity, especially the constitution portion. Okay, you'll see a lot of conceptual questions. So conceptual question going wrong in that, it has to be fixed immediately. Factual questions, so this is some example for some of our students. Okay, now this this is the student. This is if you can just take a look at this, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to read this in your phones if you're looking at it from your phone, but that is not the point. But the point is, this is an exercise that the student has done for the post-test analysis. So if you take a look at this, what is this? Simlipal National Park. Okay, chosen for Project Tiger. UNESCO added this national park to the list of biosphere reserve. Something. Okay, Palamu National Park, which is in Jharkhand. Okay, forms part of Betla National Park and Palamu Wildlife Sanctuary. Okay, Pench National Park, Madhya Pradesh. Now, Kanha National Park. Now, if I have taken this test, let's say the student has taken this test. Okay, this is Vasudha, by the way. Vasudha, great job. If you have taken this test at, let's say, 6 p.m., that is when she generally takes her test, and then she takes a look at the answers post dinner, maybe 8:39. Okay, you're not going to probably be able to sort of like completely insert all of this into your brain. Okay, or maybe some of you can, if you're like a if your brain capacity, especially for memorization, is like very good, great. Okay, kudos. And if you can remember it all the way till June 5th, even better. But let us say you can't. At least try to ensure that you don't have to go through 30-50 pages of your your solutions again. Okay, just note it down somewhere, or maybe even in the question itself, you try to find a way that works best for you. Okay, now this is the kind of thing that I generally do, and she has gone ahead and followed it. Okay, so this is not some notes of exact order of the concepts of short notes of Shankar. This is not any of that. This is more so of these are the things I did not know. Okay, so come back here. These are the kind of questions, conceptual questions and factual questions. There are questions that I knew, there are questions I did not know. What are things I need to know? Okay, great. So if let's say the student has gotten 70 questions right, 30 questions either don't know or got it wrong, that means 30 new concepts or factual things that you can actually learn. Okay, now this can be revised multiple times. Same thing, this is from one of the full length tests that I had given, Madras Native Association, founded by Ghazlu Lakshminara Chetty, right? MNA, and then some points under this thing. Ministry of Minority Affairs, Volta Scheme of Education. So many of these things. Now, it is great if you can go ahead and finish it then and there. Okay. I used to prepare early in the morning and I used to have to go to office, right? If I don't finish it by then, I can't do it later. So I try to internalize as much as possible, but in case I feel like, mere se nahi hone wala abhi, I just write it down somewhere. Okay. And whatever it is, so as I told you, you have created your own sort of a boundary. You increase the boundary a little bit, because from each and every one of these things, okay, 30, 40 new things that you can learn more from it. I hope that is sort of clear. So instead of being sort of upset about this, right, you don't want to be this one, right? What do you want to do? You think of this in a positive manner, that I am going to learn 30, 40 new things from this. So this is a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of effort, right? This probably takes a lot of effort, and that's why many of you do not want to do it. I'm not a great fan either, but I always went ahead and did it because I have because my weakness is that I cannot remember things for very long. So this is another student who is also a very good student. Okay, in fact, he was in my a couple of years ago, he was in my batch, and he was the best student in that batch. So he has a diary in which he notes down many things. So for instance, event bot, okay, a Trojan that steals this one, okay, and this is quantum dots, okay, black liquor, right, all of that. So this probably is something that he can revise to a great extent. So through this, what happens is that through the post-test analysis, you have realized that there are certain things that you know really well. There are certain things that you don't know well. Okay, there are certain things that you're going to clarify then and there, and you will not make a mistake again. There are certain things that you may not be able to sort of clarify and be confident that if they ask me again, I will know for sure. Okay, you don't have that confidence, that's fine. Okay, great. Now this is from the modern test, which was taken on 12/4, which is April 12th. Tilak Home Rule League demands for Swaraj, formation of linguistic states, educational vernacular, Simon Commission, Cabinet Mission Plan, Tibaga movement. You understand, right? So this is a lot more of my format that I generally used to use. Okay, and this is, so if you look at this, this is no particular order. It is just things that I did not know, okay, that she did not know, and these are the things that I am going to have to remember. Okay, go ahead and make note of it so that you can remember later. Now, this generally helps a lot of people who either are in their very first attempt, point number one, or you don't have very good memory. Generally, if you feel you're in the second, second attempt, third attempt, okay, Quit India Movement, Muslim League, CPI, Hindu Mahasabha didn't join is something that you probably will know for sure. Okay, All India Kisan Sabha in 1936, Swami Shahjanand Saraswati. Why am I struggling? Okay, I think the spelling is incorrect. I'm not able to get it in the same way. Or maybe I've not pronounced that term in a while. Okay, Injiranga is the General Secretary per session, Lucknow, Faizpur, they had that joint session. All of these things you might know already. Okay, for some, if you don't remember it, go ahead, make a note, internalize it, memorize it, whatever it takes. Okay, now this is, she's put in that effort to do this thing. Same thing, for instance, this is from ancient and medieval. Look at it, NBPW. Okay, now, I don't think that I'll ever go wrong with NBPW, especially being an anthro faculty. Okay, archaeology and all of those things are something that is like internalized. But look at her. Okay, this is something. In fact, she's an anthro student as well, and she was in my batch a year and a half ago, and she was also topper in that particular batch. And she's like, "Nahi, mere se nahi hoga." So I'm going to have to like sort of write it down, internalize it. Okay, no particular order, but these are the things that I don't know. Okay, and it takes a lot of time. Trust me, like 4 hours to sort of do post-test analysis and write these things down. Now, do we all have 4 hours? Absolutely not. Okay, but how much do you need it? Okay, how badly do you need it? Okay, I needed it. I went ahead and did it. Okay, if you feel like I can sit down and internalize it then and there, great. Okay, now puppetry. See, now these are things that I've studied like so many times that I feel like I cannot go wrong in these. But I can say that only because I have also made notes like this. Kuntai, okay, Yampuri, Putul Lodge, Ravana Chaya. Okay, in fact, these are from my days. Okay, so if you can see, this is from one of the polity tests, for instance, chairman of Rajya Sabha, not in the first instant, but during a tie. Okay, when can the person vote, but can the person not vote? And during removal, no need for impeachment. Rajya Sabha resolution, absolute majority and agreed to by Lok Sabha. No ground mentioned in the constitution for its removal. Unlike speaker, okay, during the removal, can't vote in the first instance. So what do? I generally block this thing with my hand, okay, and I try to see, okay, Chairman of Rajya Sabha during removal, what are the things that I can recall, okay, and I have, trust me, I have plenty and plenty of such material that I have, because I have had, in fact, this is my mother's handwriting, okay, she cannot handle my handwriting, so every time she sees me reading this, she goes ahead and, she's one of the very few who can understand my handwriting and sort of transcribe it, but every once in a while, you'll also be able to see what I have written. For instance, can you see this? 4 major reefs of India by decreasing order of species richness: Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep, Gulf of Mannar, and things of that nature. Okay, so here you can see my mistake. So whatever things that I've gone wrong with, I generally end up trying to make notes of this. And it comes in handy even much later for me. Even now today, if I look through this, I know exactly what I had in my mind when I made it. Now, will this be useful to any of you? Absolutely not. Okay, now this, only a person who's made these notes will find some use in it. What exactly did I not know about this? Why did I find the need to write this down? What do I need to remember exactly about this? Now, if you see, there are a whole lot of color coding, meaning that in case I'm trying to recall or sort of revise this, what I do is, again, I'm going to block off this with my hand or with some a paper, and I'm trying to recall, and then in case I get it wrong first, then I probably just sort of highlight it, and the next time another highlighting color, and next time another highlighting color, and you will see that I'm getting things wrong. So IPCC is set up by WMO and UNEP. Probably I did not remember. In fact, then I did not remember. Once I have highlighted, then I've highlighted here again, and then I highlighted in yellow. So this is something that I've struggled with. And there are some pencil ones that I keep sort of changing it again. So what is Nagoya Protocol? What is Cartagena? And things of that nature. And same thing, if you look at it, see, when I say that you've got to be, and let me try to sort of simplify this. When I said that, in geography, physical geography and human geography, social geography, you want to be better than most. You want to be better. So how do I do that? I want to ensure that in each and every one of these chapters, I want to be better than most. So if you, this is Gangotri place here, okay, and then you have Bhagirathi Alaknanda meeting with Dev Prayag. Can you understand? I made something like this just that can help me sort of understand. Satopanth place here, Ava Badrinath, okay, and that from there you have Alaknanda. Okay, Dholi, Vishnu Prayag, okay, and eventually you have Alaknanda and Joshimath or Vishnu Prayag, okay, and then a whole lot of these things, and even I made a bunch of acronyms that I can remember for it. Okay, Alaknanda, Nandagini, and Nandaprayag, okay, ANN, and things of that nature, whatever I needed to sort of ensure that I could do it. Now, same thing, there is this chapter on rivers. If I have to remember the chapter on rivers, you can see these are my handwriting, okay, and the rest has been sort of, this is again mine. Every one of the rivers that has been given in NCRTs, I've sort of made, what is the source, what are the tributaries. Generally, wherever it is possible, I've written it as left tributary and right bank tributary. And I don't think I can at least say that I'm better than most. Okay, and I revised this so many times that if I don't know it, the chances are somebody else beating me to it is not going to be possible. So for each and every one of these things, I'll be able to tell you after I've done. So for instance, if you tell me Yamuna, okay, Bandar Punch, okay, and I could not remember it, and then I have to literally write it, Bandar Ka Punch, okay, monkey tail, okay, great, and what are the ones in the left bank, what are the ones in the right bank tributary, and revise it and revise it and revise it. And I can tell you that if you ask me anything from what is there in NCRT plus a few extra that has been added, you can see if there's a different sort of a color, different sort of a pen, that means I've added it later for some reason, maybe because I came across it later. Okay, now same thing for Sharda, Hananda, Son, right? And let's see, what is this? Rift Valley, Narmada, Tapi, Mahanadi, and Damodar. Okay, same thing. Brahmaputra, I have another section. I have peninsular rivers, Tapi, Saraswati, plus Sabarmati. Okay. Then again, west flowing rivers. Every single one of these things that is given in this particular book, Kerala, Bharatapura. Okay. And then Periyar, Pampa. I have done. So when you ask me, are you better than most at geography? I am better than most at rivers. I am better than most at, let's say, what is the next one? I can tell you this. Okay, east flowing rivers. There's a lot of rivers. Okay, all of these things, it takes time to revise. Now, same thing. I'm better than most at the chapter that is about forests. So for each and every one of these, I know what is the distribution, what are the places, what are the sort of climatic regions. What is the amount of rain. Okay, and in fact, if you see this thing, it is, it has been done so many times that it's torn and tattered and sort of taped and whatnot. And to remember all of these things, so I'll basically block off this last one, which is a different kind of a tree for this one. And I had some acronyms that I can remember all of these. You cannot trick me on these. Okay, each and every one of these things. Have I seen these trees? No. Do I know what they look like? Absolutely not. Okay, but I know where I can find this. Okay, now there are these questions in which, where would you find so and so sort of a climate, something like this. It gives you a, and you must have taken some of these sections, right? Like, you will not go wrong in these. And same thing for every one of these. Okay, DWPT8, don't read those. I've made some acronyms and some short ways to remember. Same thing when it comes to soil. I can tell you that I'm better than most at soils. Okay, what are they rich at? What are they poor at? I should be able to sort of remember. Again, a bunch of acronyms, and I can't go wrong. So if you see, I revise this and revise this and revise this to a point where I can say that my foundation is strong enough. Okay, and even the factual portions, if I'm weak at it, let's try to find a way to sort of beat that sort of weakness. And same thing, art and culture. Let's say, am I better than most in this one? So if I take regional folk dance, something that I used to get a lot of mistakes, I decided that I'll write down each and every one of these things and revise it multiple times. Which state are they from? Same thing when it comes to festivals. I don't want to study like a few festivals. I want to ensure that each and every festival is going to be done. See, look at this, especially Jammu, Kashmir, Himachal. There I seem to be making some mistakes. In subsequent sort of revision, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Odisha, Puducherry, Punjab. Okay, so while I say that prelims is kind of easy, it is the thing that we ought to do, or ought to sort of think about, is how can we be best at, or better than most at each and every one of the portions that is given in the syllabus. If you understand you're better than most at geography, you just tell yourself that I'm better than most at geography because each and every one of these chapters I'm better than most. And trust me, if you're better than most at all of these small chunks, when you're talking about getting the best from post-test analysis, how to do your post-test analysis, it is always it sort of helps you to sort of be organized about this. So if you have one particular format in which you do it, right? I had shown you a bunch of examples, and these are some of the other examples. If you can do this thing, trust me, before the test, whatever kind of preparation that you have done by sort of establishing that boundary that you have for yourself, applying the methods of process of elimination, right? Rephrasing the question or breaking down the question into different portions and simplifying the question, okay, and trying to make up for any sort of weaknesses that you feel much later. All of these things can be done, okay, and these things help in some ways, and I've actually gotten a lot of benefit from it, especially from the notes that I've made myself. Okay, the reason why notes help me a lot. And there are people who cleared this exam without making any sort of notes. In fact, like one of my another friend who asked, have you started your preparation? He has not started his preparation. And I know that he's not going to start it for last 3 weeks or so, or maybe 3-4 weeks is probably when he's going to get started. Okay, but he has a lot better memory than I do. Okay, he has a lot better memory than I do. And in fact, like he tells me, we have seen a question like this. Pichle saal dekha tha humne. Okay, maybe I can't recall those things. Okay, so I have to understand what are my weaknesses. I am not built for something like prelims. Prelims is something that is having to have a lot of things in your mind in one day, on that morning, in those 2 hours, and be able to recall those things at will is not something that is my strength. So I had to find out like how exactly do I sort of beat it. So whenever you take a particular test, you understand, okay, there are some things that work for you, there are some strengths that you have, there are some weaknesses that you have as well. Okay, depending upon where you stand when it comes to this, how do you sort of like, what are the things that you can do to sort of beat it? Okay, if I've beaten it, trust me, you can also beat it. I'll tell you how many times it has come to sort of help me in many ways. By doing this thing, you can ensure that whatever you have done, in the last 2 to 4 months, okay, you can consolidate. So it is not that, I've done that like 2.5 months ago, how will I remember it now? Of course, you can remember it because you've revised it, or you remember it because there were some things. Now, for instance, there was this one question, and there are many samples like this, and I'm not going to run through all of these sort of questions. Okay, which one of the following are Agastya Malay Biosphere Reserve? Okay, which one of the following are Agastya Malay Biosphere Reserve? And the answer is given right here in front of you: Neyar, Pepara, Shendorni Wildlife Sanctuaries, and Kalakad Mundathurai Tiger Reserve. Okay, and in fact, if you look at my notes and if you see this particular portion, I have already made it like this. Okay, I had this and I have revised it. And in fact, it seems like I've struggled to with this Kalakad Mundathurai Tiger Reserve. Okay, but look at this: Neyar, Pepara, Sendorne. Okay, and I'm sure that I've mispronounced my own regions, this one. Okay, and Kalakad and Mundathurai. You understand this, right? Exact. Neyar, Pepara, Sendorne, Kalakad, Mundathurai. What was asked in the exam? And this is in prelims 2019. It's a previous year question. 2019 previous year question 2019 2019, sorry. Okay, Neyar, Pepara, Sindorni, Kalakad, Mundathurai. Now for a lot of people, a vast chunk of people, when you look at this, you'll be like, I'm not even able to pronounce many of these things. What a question, difficult question, right? Now they're not only asking like what is a national park, they're asking for specific wildlife sanctuaries. Hundreds of wildlife sanctuaries are there. I'm going to have to sit and study all of them. Okay, but this was in the news, or I'm not sure exactly what made me, but I seem to have Nayar, Pepara, and Sindorni, the 3 wildlife sanctuaries, and Kalakad, Bundataraya, Tiger Reserve. I seem to have it. So you can imagine, for the person who has been a little more systematic, organized, and sort of tried to consolidate everything that the person has done till now, there's definitely going to be a smile when you see this. Okay, can I say better than most? Of course, better than most. Why? Because this is not something that a lot of people are going to be able to recall, remember, or something like this. But in case, so that's what I'm saying, that, post-test analysis, you'll understand that there are certain things that you're now going to know, right? Learn it, know it. Okay. When you talk about making your strike rate much higher, trust me, a person who has a very strong foundation, okay, who has studied a lot, who is generally aware of a lot of things, if not one option in many questions, that person can, if not the entire answer, that person can definitely say one option can be eliminated. Maybe if your foundation is very strong, 2 options can be eliminated, where most of the people will not be able to eliminate anything. Who has better odds of scoring higher there? Of course, the person who has a much stronger foundation. So that's why I keep saying foundation is the most important thing. We do not have to do everything under the sun, but whatever you have done, if you can consolidate and know it to a great extent, and believe that, when you walk into that exam hall, all those 6 portions plus your current affairs, I am better than most. My foundation is kind of strong. Trust me, in many questions, there will be so many questions in which you will be able to eliminate more options than another person. Okay. Now this, many people who attempt this particular question are going to feel like, kahan se? Okay, this is clearly it's a 25% chance of you getting it right in case you're going to attempt it, but not for everybody. Right? Not for everybody. There are going to be people who will have a better strike rate because of their stronger foundation. So again, the whole idea is, as long as your foundation is kind of strong, I think you will be in a much stronger position to have a better strike rate. Okay, so I hope these kind of things help you, and you're able to see value in the kind of things that I'm suggesting. Alrighty, guys. So that brings us to the close of our video. Thank you for watching, and we hope that you found the video to be useful. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the very next video.